Welcome back to Smash Bros. Ultimate World of Light. Starting off this episode, we're going to take on Dr. Crygor from the WarioWare series. Dr. Crygor is one of the denizens of Diamond City, a mad scientist who hosts a bunch of quirky minigames. And in this battle, as well as battling on the, WarioWare stage, we are battling both Crygor himself, along with a Wario, who really wants to spam his bike, or should be spamming his bike, since Dr. Crygor did invent Wario's bike. And also a Blue Rob. The Blue Rob is representative of the character Mike, a karaoke robot, first appearing in WarioWare Touched, who was basically the host of all of the microphone-themed minigames, in which you would yell and blow and spit all over your DS screen. Disgusting. And that is Dr. Crygor. Boosts our electricity because mad science. There we go. And moving on from there, we have a whole new area to explore. We have a city/town. So here is Metor, one of the hard hat enemies who appear quite frequently in the Mega Man series. They've also been referred to as Metools and just Mets. Quite interesting, that. Essentially, they're a bunch of little robots that walk around with a hard hat, and while their hat is down, they are functionally invincible. They cannot be hurt. So you have to wait for them to peek out before you can shoot them with your Mega Buster. In this fight, we have the Wrecking Crew stage to represent Gutsman stage, because that's where you would find Mets in the original Mega Man. Then again, the music, I believe, is actually from Cutman stage, so what do I know? And, yeah, in this battle you have a Pac-Man who, if not for my Pikmin eating through his health, would be very evasive and, very annoying to fight. Thanks, Pikmin, he just did that fight for me. I barely had to worry about it. They get rid of your jumping ability if you equip them, because they don't jump, they just totter around and take cover more often than not. Here are Timmy and Tommy, first appearing in Animal Crossing Wild World, I believe. I think that was their first appearance. They are the nephews of Tom Nook, your landlord/shop owner. And, yeah, they're a bunch of little tanukis, and they basically try to live up to their uncle's expectations by running the shops when he is not able to. So yeah. And eventually they end up getting their own place, which, I'm proud of them for that. Anyway, they're being played by a pair of villagers with tanuki ears, because, yeah, they are just a pair of kids, and also tanukis. And this fight is actually really goddamn hard. Like, just because they're so in sync with each other and there are so many items spawning that everything is super chaotic all the time. I'm sure if I went in with a more aggressive, character, maybe I'd be doing a bit better. But then again, for some reason, I just really like using Morgana to fight the Animal Crossing characters. Morgana just feels like an Animal Crossing character, almost. Like, Morgana would fit in Animal Crossing quite well. Anyway, wow, you've got me all the way up to using Final Smashes, eh? Is that where you've got me now? And you're still not dying, still not going out. Come on, this should do it. That's one. And then the second one is just a case of not falling off and dying. Not getting fucking ruined by that urchin that's just sitting there. Okay, I just need to fucking... Ah, the urchin! God damn it! Ah, the urchin! Fuck! You wouldn't think a stationary target would be my greatest downfall, but there you go. Come on now, come on, stop being rusty. Get in and kill the little raccoons. Because I want to unlock their shop. There we go, Timmy and Tommy. They are going to open a new shop for me. And their shop is going to specialise in, well, items. They're like the only item shop in Smash Bros. That focus mostly on items. Anyway, Here is Yuri Kozukata from the Project Zero series, or as it's called over here, Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame are a bunch of mature horror games created by Tecmo Koei, and they are photography-based horror games. Not gonna lie, they fuck me up and I cannot play them. They are far too upsetting for me. And this particular character appears in the Maiden of Blackwater entry in that series. In this Wii U game, Yuri Kozukata, after a car accident, is able to see ghosts, and dealing with the existential horror of that, she tries to commit suicide. So that's already kind of fucked up. And then after that, after her suicide fails, she's then given the Camera Obscura, a camera that allows her to exorcise spirits by taking upsettingly close photos of them, more often than not. So, yeah, you gotta go right up to the fucked up, horrifying ghosts and take pictures of them. It sucks, I hate it, it is absolutely the worst. And I remember that in that game, in that particular installment in the series, if you don't get the good ending, Yuri up and kills herself, so... There's a lot of, like, content in Smash Ultimate that is absolutely not okay for kids, and that is wild to me, that this series that started off as a bunch of super colourful, light-hearted Nintendo characters has now just been... it's been, like, corrupted almost by all of this adult content. So yeah, that's Fatal Frame. Not the last we'll see of it either. Anyway, moving on from there, we have another Splatoon shopkeeper, Annie the Anemone. She appears in both Splatoon 1 and 2, and she runs a headgear shop named Cooler Heads. And yeah, much like all the other Splatoon characters, you can put on all these different hats in order to buff your Inklings, make yourself stronger. And naturally, all the items that are going to spawn in this battle are items that you can wear on your heads, or that you know, plant on your opponent's heads, in the Lipstick's case, in order to represent how, you know, her business operates. So, on that note, let's go get this fucking... Oh! Let's go get this fucking Lipstick and start batting you with it. There we go. Oh, god damn, the goddamn mushrooms as well. I don't know if I've really gone into what those mushrooms do, but if you catch your opponent in their spores and they end up with a mushroom on their head, it actually fucks with their controls, which is kind of useless against AI opponents because, you know, they can just automatically adjust to deal with that. But against people, though, or against, you know, you, it is a really debilitating item, and I have won several online matches taking advantage of those things. And before you say anything, I'm not the one with the item switched on, so don't you dare accuse me of any kind of bullshit there. Just because I don't use items online doesn't mean I won't make use of them if they spawn in anyway. Anyway, let's open up this chest. And that gets us some good SP. Lovely. And, oh, hello, new character. Gonna have to power through Baxter and Forthington and some other jobber in order to get to you. Baxter and Forthington appear in the Rhythm Heaven games. They are a dog and a cat who play badminton between biplanes. And it is honestly one of the most adorable games in Rhythm Heaven, and the music that accompanies them is so goddamn catchy. It's a shame that this is like a mild facsimile of their theme, but what can you do? You can't have every song in Smash. There are already like 800 plus tracks in this game, so yeah. Anyway, getting more into their minigame, the challenge would eventually come where your opponents, you know, hitting the shuttlecock back to you, would start flying their biplane into a bunch of clouds, hence why we have the smoke ball as an item here. And on top of that, sometimes the planes would just go really, really goddamn far away from you. Hence why we have the launch stars, which have the ability to send you goddamn flying. That whole minigame is represented really well. I respect that. Anyway, let's get one step closer to our new character. Here is Digby. So Digby is Isabel's brother in the Animal Crossing series, and Digby runs the Happy Home Showcase in New Leaf, which essentially allows you to visit other players' homes, and that is goddamn great. I approve of that. More connectivity in Animal Crossing, please. As soon as they release an Animal Crossing MMO, you will never see me again, and that is a promise. I will just be absorbed by that game and become one with it. Hopefully it doesn't have goddamn microtransactions in. Pocket Camp. Putting you on goddamn blast. Anyway, that is Digby. He boosts your battering item power, which I guess because you use a hammer to build up a house, maybe? Not quite sure there. Anyway, me sword fighter, just generic sword boy. Generic customizable sword boy. Generic customizable, can easily be turned into Hitler, sword boy. So, yeah, in Super Smash Bros. 4, the Wii U and 3DS games, the character that I feel had the biggest impact on the game, despite the fact that no one really ever talks about them, are the Mii fighters. The fact that you can build your own character in Smash opens up so many avenues. I have fought so many Garfields, Hank Hills, so many goddamn, you know, actual intended characters like the Black Knight from Fire Emblem or Nia from Xenoblade. There's so much potential with these custom characters, and it's great. And, yeah, the fact that you can also customize their moveset is also very good. Like, they have a bunch of really, really solid special attacks. Granted, when you fight one controlled by an AI like this one, it just has the basic moveset, but the ability to chop and change is goddamn brilliant, and in some cases has screwed me over online. Some people are very good at holding back their specials, so you don't know what they're going to do to you until they, you know, do it. Anyway, this is Teddy from the Earthbound series. Teddy appears in Mother 1, or Earthbound 0, and he is a gang member. He starts off in a somewhat antagonistic role, but as you warm up to him and, you know, befriend him, he becomes your bruiser, your heavy hitter. And yeah, the fact that he's being played by Little Mac here is representative of the fact that, you know, while he does look like a big, rough, tough, buff guy, he is just an unruly teenager. So yeah, that is Teddy. We are also fighting in Onett, because that's a good way of representing a normal, everyday, Earthbound town. Anyway, moving on, there's another character, but I cannot get to that one yet. Oh, that's a pain in the arse. That's really annoying. I'm just gonna have to go round for now. How do I get that treasure chest down there? Oh, it's gotta be a way. It's gonna drive me up the wall if I can't. I'm gonna have to do it later. I'll have to get there later. Anyway, here is the Octoling from Splatoon. So, Octolings are basically enemies of the Inklings in Splatoon 1. And then thankfully they became playable in Splatoon 2, because that's kinda racist to just have a whole race be evil. But yeah, no, Octolings are, you know, half child, half octopus, much in the way that the Squidlings are half child, half squid. And this particular battle is just full of goddamn projectiles to represent a standard Splatoon match. Splatoon is like, it really is just like Nintendo's deepest dive into an FPS game, and it's just so quintessentially Nintendo that they make an FPS game and it's all about goddamn paintball and fish people. Gotta love it. Here is Juri Han from the Street Fighter series. She is the Korean character in Street Fighter, utilizing Taekwondo. But she's also charged by something called the Feng Shui Engine, which is basically a mystical biomechanical enhancement placed into her eye, which makes her evil, sadistic, power-hungry, and incredibly dangerous. Thankfully, none of that power is represented in this fight. Otherwise, I'd have gotten my ass kicked. Alright, so, continuing down this familiar path, for those of you who've, seen this LP in its infancy, here is BioRex. BioRex is an F-Zero racer created from dinosaur DNA, albeit given human levels of strength and intelligence. So, yeah, he's a Dino Man in F-Zero. Not much more to him than that. However, he does love mammoth ribs. He goddamn loves his ribs so much. Hence why, if we allowed them to spawn, a bunch of ribs would have started appearing. Just straight up ribs. Delicious. And treasure chest. What's in here? Skill spheres. Nice one. Alright. And cannot go down that way yet. Have not got the pilot for that one. Here is Wheezing. Oh, given my throat infection, I feel very close to this Pokemon right now. Wheezing is a poison-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 1, the evolved form of Coughing, and appeared quite heavily in the Pokemon anime under the ownership of James. It is a pretty decent poison-type Pokemon, especially in Generation 3, where its ability to levitate gave it a massive boon over ground-type Pokemon. And yeah, it is something of a tank. Sadly, it's kind of fallen out of use in more recent Pokemon games. But who knows, maybe Galarian Wheezing will be, the revitalization that Pokemon needed. Gotta love that fucking dapper top hat, though. That top hat, though. It's so good. Alright, so, time for another F-Zero racer. Up here, we have Pico, a character we actually need to recruit in order to go to that F-Zero track back down south. So, Pico, in the F-Zero universe, is an incredibly dangerous hitman. He is cold-hearted and aggressive, and those things are implemented into his driving style as well. He is an incredibly aggressive driver. His brutality is actually the source of a lot of criticism from, F-Zero enthusiasts. But the fact that he absolutely does not give a fuck and will literally terrorize interviewers when they try to interview him in that game, it's a good indication of his character. He gives zero fucks, so yeah. What he doesn't like is being blasted in the face by Ki, so take that, Pico. That's what happens when I throw a Mega Lucario at you. You get blasted with Ki. So, moving on. Now that we have Pico, we can use the Wild Goose, and we can explore the F-Zero track. So, that is going to be the last thing we do for this episode, as there are a whole bunch of spirits for us to acquire. First of all, as soon as we hop in, we have to take on Nico Flame from Slot Car Rivals, a 3DS Street Pass game in which you played with slot cars, and that was it. Really not much more to Nico than that. He's even all dressed up as if he's like a proper Formula 1 driver, and yet, these are slot cars we're playing with here. Anyway, to represent the slot cars, we have all the F-Zero racers, hence why we're battling on Big Blue. And you'll notice that the characters we're playing against are all the fastest characters in the game. Sonic, Fox, and, well, Ness isn't, not by any means, but he was representing Nico, so, what other child wearing a baseball cap do we have, really? Anyway, moving on. We have Muck Rider from the NES game of the same name. Muck Rider is a motorcycle riding hero who wields a goddamn machine gun, and he shoots alien invaders named Quad Runners. all while seeking survivors from their invasion. From that description alone, you could probably gather that Mac Ryder is a fucking boss, and absolutely should be in Smash Bros. Why isn't he in Smash Bros? Fucking why? He the best, though. Anyway, he did only appear in one NES game, kind of like the Excitebikers from Excitebike. So Excitebike is an NES motorcycle stunting game where you can have motorcycle races while pulling sweet jumps off of sweet ramps. Hence why we have a bunch of Warios here, all riding around on their sweet bikes. And the level we're playing on is based on Mario Kart 8, which literally has an Excitebike track in it. So I like the reference within a reference almost. That said, easy battle. They did bring Excitebike back in the GameCube era with Excite Truck, a game where you stunted with trucks. It wasn't as successful. Although, in theory, that's the dopest game in the goddamn world. Anyway, here is the Gyro Wing from Star Fox Zero. The worst Star Fox game. Sorry, it's true. Anyway, the Gyro Wing is an exploration ship. It's not particularly fast and it doesn't do stunts like many of the other Star Fox ships, but it is able to hover, and it is connected or tethered to a recon robot named Direct Eye, who looks so much like Rob, as in, the actual robot Rob, that it seems wild to me that that spirit battle didn't in some way incorporate him. Like, literally just Rob comes out of the Gyro Wing. Anyway, next up we have Jack Levin from the F-Zero series. Jack Levin is like the Justin Bieber of F-Zero. He is a pop star who joined F-Zero in order to achieve his childhood dream of becoming an F-Zero pilot. But the baggage of having a bazillion groupies and being a pop star always kind of, lingers behind him, and for that reason a lot of people don't take him seriously as a driver. That said, speaking of groupies, here are the groupies. They're all here too, to cheer him on, and also stick their fingers in my eyes, so I'm gonna have to deal with you quickly now, Jack, otherwise I'm gonna get bodied by your fans. There goes Jack, and assuming I can get a few clean hits. God damn it. I should be able to get rid of the fans, should being the key word. However, this fight did take me a few attempts, so don't expect it to be clean. There goes one. There goes the second. And one more to do it. Please don't grab me, please don't do that. Please don't hit me, fuck me. There we go, this'll do it. I don't care how much you love Jack Levin. Y'all ain't gonna stop a giant monster fist. And Jack Levin boosts our speed, which I feel like most F-Zero pilots should really do that, given how goddamn fast F-Zero racers are. Anyway, here is the man himself, Captain Douglas J. Falcon. I believe that's his name. I think that's his canonical name. Captain Falcon is a bounty hunter, the main protagonist of the F-Zero series. He rides the Blue Falcon, and my favourite thing about him is the fact that his Super Smash Bros. Moveset is almost entirely devised. So, even though he is one of the original characters, he is actually something of a holdover from the original Smash Bros.'s original pitch, which was a fairly generic fighting game starring a bunch of martial artists. So, yeah, his whole moveset was formed based on one of those characters, and it gave him the most iconic move in the goddamn world. That is to say, Falcon Punch. Falcon goddamn Punch, the best move in any fighting game. So yeah. Anyway, that opens up the track for us, but we do have one more spirit, and it is the Mighty Gazelle. The Mighty Gazelle is an F-Zero racer who was actually rebuilt as a cyborg after a life-threatening F-Zero accident. So, he is essentially the same as the Skull, but with technology instead of necromancy. But, the cool thing about Mighty Gazelle is that he's not in any way evil, though. He's not, like, monstrous or evil or demonic. He is just a guy who loves F-Zero so much that he wouldn't even let death stop him, and he became the Robocop of F-Zero. A lot of people, you know, bring his legitimacy into account, because being a cyborg, surely that will give you an advantage in F-Zero racing, but even those naysayers, he doesn't let them get to him. He is all about his goddamn F-Zero, and ain't no one gonna stop him, not even an electrified floor. Fuck that electrified floor. Anyway, that is the Mighty Gazelle. And that is all the spirits for this episode. My voice is still killing me, and this was hell to do. So for the next episode, I'm going to treat you all to something a little different.